It's a tricky one to understand, and it's tricky for me to try and resolve. But it comes down to this. Welcome back to my channel on building my 23-foot Sharpie, and at the moment I'm trying to finish off my Ljungström rig. This week has been another week of experimentation with bamboo to see what certain scenarios look like, and some decisions about the bearing. And this is pretty much what I've come up with here in the way of a bearing system that would work for either wishbones type booms or straight booms. So the other thing I considered was the original idea of this boom here going past the mast and hanging from the topping lift, which is now possible because of that swivel bearing I put at the top of the mast, and then you have a downhaul line going to the bottom of the mast that stops the boom going forwards. Like on a nonsuch, you have a short line on a nonsuch, which I think it's called a snotter, and you can control the draft of the sail with it and the height of the boom. But I decided against that. I only used a straight bit of bamboo to test it out, but I could see what was going to happen, and that was that if you're in a bit of a seaway, these could swing around quite a lot and bang into the mast, and that wouldn't be a good thing. And the other thing with this boom system was that they would need to cross each other. Each boom would have to go like that, and that would work quite well. And that was the only way I could think of to make it work, actually, if I used this type of boom and they were two separate booms, wishbones. So gone back to this idea, but this idea comes with its complications too. One of them being that if you use wishbone booms, you've got to prevent these from rotating, and this bearing setup here would do that. I've had to try and set it up because I haven't made up my mind yet to go for wishbones that are bent or straight. So that's what I'm thinking of there. There's another consideration. The outhauls will come along these booms and it'll drop down to the deck, so there's quite a considerable downforce load. So as well as the radial load that these roller bearings, like the lower bearings, will accommodate, to keep the friction low, there'll be a race of balls underneath this bearing while I'm casting. So that's two pieces I have to cast for this. The ball race ring below this ring, this itself, and also I'll make up another clamp for that clamp I broke, and I'll probably use 6mm screws instead of 8mm. I was reminded by Jack of the situation, what happens if this boom flies around and hits that boom because you've jibed it. That is a serious consideration. That's something I considered right at the beginning in one of my first videos on the sail plan, and I had a good look at it with the model to see what would happen if this boom flew around. And I don't know if it translates to the full-size real world, but there seemed to be a cushioning effect when this sail came around and got close to that one, which stopped the booms banging. Another way to look at it is if you always keep the windward sheet a little bit shorter than this sheet on the leeward side, then this boom can never reach that one. Thanks for that, Jack, and the other ideas you came up with. So let's chunk this plywood and get it into the wheelbarrow. If this looks a bit dodgy, it is, but it's so much faster than using my saber saw. Yes, I'm on my third aluminium mag wheel, and I did manage to cut up about a third of it. So the construction of the boom gooseneck begins, the boom gooseneck bearing. And I've got a template on either side which works so much better. Let's see how we go. Yeah, that went pretty good. Now I've just got to drill a hole in here, put the wire through, and do both of these. Ready to paint on a coating of plaster of Paris, and hopefully I can pour this afternoon. It's been in the sun for a while now, and I think I can put it in the sand. It looks very dry. This time I used quite a thin watery coating of plaster of Paris and water, and you don't need much at all. The gas escapes through the plaster of Paris into the sand. Woof! That's our old house cladding, which is on its third use. It was on the house, well, its fourth use. It was in nature, fixing carbon, then it was on the house, and then I made my temporary frames for the boat with it. Now this is, I've got to watch this really carefully, that I don't over or underfill it. Yeah, I can't see what's going on. It's a good sign when it doesn't go bloop, bloop. 15 minutes, and we can pull it out, although I'll have to tip the sand out of that one first. It's one of the harder ones. Stinky. Oh, okay. Wow, so far so good. See, I wonder about the tempering of it. Ooh, nearly failed. I'm wondering about the tempering of it. If you left it in the sand to cool right down, possibly could have a better effect. I should research that. That nearly failed because of a collapse of the sprue, see? Well, I think we got away with it. These parts here get machined off. I make 2 rings here. So I just glued those on, and there'll be a bit of a join in there. Awesome, Brent. Thank you for helping.
All fun.
Yeah.
You don't find you get inclusions of sand in those joins?
Not sand, but the plaster of Paris goes in there.
Oh, yes.
So if you were relying on it, you'd use more glue, like low temperature hot glue, or seal it with wax.
Yes.
I was lucky to have Brent help me today. How did you find it?
Good fun.
Yeah?
Yep.
Why was it good fun?
Oh, possibilities. All the things you could cast.
Thank you to those who responded to my poll. I know it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to understand, and it's tricky for me to try and resolve. But it comes down to this. I'll show you the other rig first, the Wishbone rig. This was a strong contender right from the beginning. This is what I looked at when I was designing the rig. To some degree, this boat is all about the rig. That's why this part is so challenging and interesting for me at the same time, and maybe frustrating. Definitely frustrating. I've had a close look at this rig, the Wishbone rig. What's the situation is, the sheeting angle here is good. The sheeting angle when the sail is reefed or in its working area is not good. And that's essential. You've got to have a good sheeting angle, right? I can't do much about that because this is the light air sail up to 10 knots, and a lot of the time the sail will be a lot smaller area. So I can't change that, and I've mentioned the issues with these booms and their proximity to the mast, and what happens if the boat's in a seaway and it's these booms swing around a little bit because they're not highly restrained. They've got topping lifts, downhauls. I could use the outhaul line down to here, although it would get in the way of the hatch, to control the fore and aft movement of the boom quite well. But the sideways movement, it could wear pretty thin pretty fast if these booms were smacking into the mast. I think there are limitations to this rig which I don't think I can resolve fairly easily. I've never seen a rig like this before. I think it could work. It kind of worked on my model. Oh, and the other thing is this, and that is when you look at these booms, it's supported at that end and this end, and there's nothing for all this weight around here to stop it wanting to rotate, except the tension of the lines. And you could have tangs down, and I think that would work to some degree, but these booms would always want to rotate in this direction on that side and the other direction on the other side. And I don't know if that can be resolved. For now, I'm moving on from that rig, as attached as I was to it. This is what it comes down to, this rig and this solution. You can see here with straight booms, which I've allowed for with that bearing I just cast yesterday, that when you have a line going up from the boom on a ring here, which can slide along the boom up to the clew, the out haul going bit to the back of the mast there, that angle there is a good angle for tensioning the leach of the sail and to some degree balancing that tension with the foot of the sail. The working sail area is probably around about there somewhere. It won't be fully rolled out like here. That's only in an up to 10 knots scenario that the sail would be fully rolled out. So it's what's happening in this area which is most important. And this is like a typical reefing line in a Bermudan rig, where you come off the boom through the clew back to the back of the aft end of the mast there. So that, I know that would work quite well. I'm fairly certain of that because it's been used so much and so often. I mean, just about every second boat has this arrangement for reefing their mainsail. The downside of this rig, unlike the Wishbone rig, which puts a good angle of tension only when it's in its full position though, and that's the thing. But with the Wishbones out here, you do get more leach tension on the wind. With this rig like this, the main sheets will put enough leach tension on there. But of course, when you're reaching, it'll be nice to have the sails poled out, unlike a proper Ljungström rig which had no booms. You'll see here I've drawn the sail with the foot of the sail cut off. This wouldn't work because there's a boom either side of the sails, and so I've already experienced that with the bamboo sprits that I've tried. Cut that off, it'll work like a proper sail. The only potential downside of that, and I wonder how many of you saw this coming, was that square top to some degree is held up by the battens. So that's what it came down to. It's got to work with the right sheeting angle. What do you think about that, guys? Have I made the right choice here? So the out haul would go through the boom, and I'm not sure exactly where it would exit the boom. And I can imagine a scenario where if both these booms rotated to port, for example, how it's set up now, this out haul would slacken and the other one would tension, which is the opposite to what you want. If you want an aerofoil shape, if the wind's coming from here off the starboard bow, you want the inner sail to have more tension in the out haul than the outer sail, so it forms an aerofoil shape. And that's the other thing, and Jack and I have been talking about that. When you're going downwind with this rig, you can let both booms out to the point where the booms are virtually out here somewhere. You don't have to do it with full sail, but the boat has got a good chance of self-steering, because if the boat goes to starboard, you're exposing more sail area on the starboard side, so there's a torque on the boat and it will want to straighten it up to balance with the other side. And because the sails are rotating in the front of the boat, that's got a good chance of working. So gosh, I think I've left out so many things covering this, but ask me any questions if you don't understand this rig. I'm quite happy to try and answer them. Making sure the sheeting angle right is the big decision. If I don't get that right, the sail's just not going to work well. The bit I cut off here, I can use, it's the same size probably. I'll get 80 by 3 millimeters, and it happens to be 80 by 3 in there, but it's not long enough because it's an offcut from another boat, so I can put a decent length of prod in there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.